Some people wonder why it takes, well, certainly for me, why it takes so long to get through a wedding album, not wedding album, but a wedding shoot, editing, selecting, and processing the images. Sometimes it is just a case of that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, and punt them out. However, there's always a couple of images which you really want to work on. You really want it to make it sure it's the best, and it may be that you end up making a couple of copies at the same time. Here's an image from a recent wedding which I shot, Emma and Duncan McWalter now, and I know this is a shot which I want to make look really good. This is definitely going to be maybe a page and a half spread in the album whenever I've gone through that. So this effectively is just me trying to figure out how I can make this image as best as I can for the couple. So this is just one out of the 367 I've selected. But you know what I was saying, like some of which are just click and pick. Yeah, some of the location shots, some of the kind of item shots, that's just that. You know, they're easy sorted. But this one, I definitely want to spend some time on it. So here's just kind of the stuff which I'm going to go through to work on this image. So first of all, okay, it's definitely going to need some straightening. I'm going to have it so it's straight with the picture in the background, and then we don't want to see this this lamp at the side, so let's get rid of that. And we don't want to see these books down at the bottom here, so just bring them up there. And we want it kind of a little bit more panoramic. I like the look of that there. Okay, so I'll just get rid of this down here as well. So I'm working on the full-size image now. There's a color thing about this. This might be something which would work well in a muted color, a desaturation, like an aged photo, maybe a full-on black and white. But it's right. Okay, so if I were to do like saturation right down, loses a good bit of punch. So we bring the blacks down a little bit and bring it there, but not hugely feeling that because we're losing kind of details in our hair and stuff. So not digging that at all. Okay, so other things. First of all, let's do some lens correction there. It's a Tamron lens, done. And bring a distortion there. And that's kind of changed it already. Oh no, I think I've still got a, yeah, still slightly desat. Yeah, desaturating, maybe an idea. Because I've always got to think, whenever you're doing these photos, is what's it going to be like once it's printed out on the album? And obviously there's some things which there'll be like microscopic changes which no one will ever notice. But as a photographer, you want to know that whenever you're putting it into the album, it's as best as it possibly can be. So I like adding a little bit of the lens vignetting here. Don't want it bright. I like the kind of, because this is just before she goes into the wedding, so this is a little time of intrepidation, a little bit of nerves of the tummy. So having it like bright and happy, that's not the mood there. It was a little bit kind of like, whoo, got to think about, we're going to go do this kind of stuff. So a little bit of vignetting coming in to the corner there. Let's also see if I bring this down to portrait. Ew, that's brought in a lot of green. Screw that. Version 4. Not liking that at all. Neutral. Right, neutral's giving me a very flat profile, so I've got a lot more room here to work with the contrast. I could definitely bring that. But obviously with bringing the contrast, there's a saturation going up. But also it's just this wall here is just too kind of greeny. So we're going to bring the tint up a touch. That's looking a lot better there of the kind of background. But now our skin is a little bit flushed. So I'm going to bring the white balance up just a touch. But on the saturation, bring the red, yellow and orange down just a little bit. So that probably you won't be able to see this once it's been edited and like uploaded. You probably wouldn't have seen the difference there. But if I can just show you before and after, I'm definitely happier with that after. Now, in terms of clarity, you never really want to put it up, and if you bring it too down, it's just a bit guff. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But what do I want to do here? I think, because you've got to think about the mood at this point. Here, she's looking out of the image up to either a guest or her dad or someone that was in the room at the time. So I think almost maybe playing around. If I bring the saturation down, no, I'm not digging that. And I'd say down just a little bit. A split tone, I don't know if this would really help. Just a subtle split toning, that gives it a little bit more of an aged feel. Let's bring the saturation down so it's just a little bit. Has that helped? It's given it, because this is like her life before she got married, and she's in her dress, she's got the flowers. It's not digging it there. Right, any kind of post crops. No. Maybe if it was, it'd be like 5% at the most. What do I want? Is there a luminance? Well, first of all, I say height, brighten up the skin just a touch. The orange and the yellows are usually good things to brighten up. So that's given her a little bit more brightness to her part of the image. And I am thinking maybe like an uber blur. An uber blur. I'm seeing it in a lot of wedding magazines, wedding photos, wedding companies, where it's either it's just an uber blur. So if I were to do a gradient thing, I would, let's say, bring it up from there to there, bring the clarity down just a touch, but then the sharpness down a good whack there. So it's like so it looks like you're doing a super shallow depth of field, where even her hands are out of focus there. Am I digging that? Well, yeah, that's actually going okay. That's going okay. And we'll do another one there. Maybe just coming in the side, but maybe just a little bit less on the uber blurriness. A little bit here. So yeah, so now this is more like, this is giving me a little bit of more of a feel to how I think the image best represents. So let's see, bring that around like that. That one there, make it a little bit thicker. Yeah, so not like super duper all the way down blur. That's a bit pump, but certainly just sign there that everything out with her at that moment is just fuzz. That's definitely going for it. Okay, that's me getting closer to where I'm wanting. I'm liking this now. Brush wise, is there another brush that we want to use maybe on her to give her just a touch of softness but sharpness up? Brush is what I'm looking for. Down just a touch, sharpness up a little bit, and just a little stroking of her there. Again, you're probably not able to see this, so I wouldn't go over her hair there. You probably aren't able to see this unless you're watching this in full super duper HD. You know, if I bring that all the way down, if I bring it all the way up, it looks too tough. But just a touch, that gives her a little bit of a glow, as it were. Maybe just a touch exposure up. Yeah, that's getting more there. pretty much all the exposure elements not really changing. Like the blacks are brought down a touch. If I had them up too much, it'd just be a bit far too flat. Bring it down too much, it's if I bring it down to about 30. 30, I'm liking it there. I'm looking at that close up. Yeah, I'm liking that. What I will do is I'll add a brush stroke of extra clarity, extra sharpness over her flowers here and that little bit of her dress. So you'll see that there. And if like we bring it right up, you'd see the flowers getting pretty strong there, but that's a bit too much. Sharpness up there, yeah, liking that. And then maybe just a touch on the hair just to keep that nice and crisp. And I'm thinking now, if that was in a album, I think I would be pretty happy with that. Then I could have a couple of images there, there, and there, or maybe there, there, and an up and down one over there. So is it like some photographers would say, "Oh, I always crop in camera," as in they walk forward and all that kind of stuff. I would say a lot of the times what you want to do is you want to shoot wide so that you have the opportunity to crop when editing, so that you can further work on the effect of the album layout afterwards. So it's not just the capturing of the photo, it's not just the right exposure, the colour, the lighting and all that kind of stuff. It's also the editing and the composition for how you lay out the album afterwards. But I think that would almost pretty much be a good 2-page spread. We could have the page split down just down the middle there, and then pictures on this side because this is just a sofa, and her over there. So I think if I were to do anything, I'd crop it a little bit more. I'd maybe like get it in so it's a bit more panoramic. However, what I would say is that I probably don't need to do that, just because I can do that once I'm putting it into the album to work on. So anyway, that's just one of actually a multitude of edits which I've done there on that one image. If I were to go filters off, you see I've actually done quite a few there, but compared to a previous edit, let's see, is there any difference? Ugh, too bright. And then there, oh no, maybe I need to bring the brightness up a little bit. Bring the highlights up a touch, exposure up a touch, purpleness down a bit, and saturation of the purples down. Let's see, that had pretty much no effect apart from nothing. That you can see in the flowers a little bit. Can you see it in her skin? No, so it'll keep the flowers up nice. Might just add some saturation to the flowers here. Maybe a little bit of an exposure up. Clarity up. Exposure up. And now I'm thinking that maybe she is a little bit... Right, I like that. I like that. If I look at that other one which I did before. Yes, okay, now. No. No, I need to white balance down a touch. There's too much of a purple. There's too much of a purple. Or something. There's something going on which I'm not digging in this image. Is it a blue? So if I change the orange hue, if I bring it right down, orange becomes pink kind of thing, or almost red. And if I bring it up, it becomes green-ish. So in her skin tone, thinking I want to bring the hue up just a touch. Yes, that's it, up to about plus 15. I think the red, that's not really, that's just, that's pretty much nothing. Bring that down, just a touch that's a little bit more saturated there. Yellow, that's more the brightness of the background, not really doing anything there. That's nice. That's kind of a pinky colour, girly colour. But I want it to be. I'm not a fan of if I have it over here and it's too green. Nah, too much. But it does give a good separation of her from the background. However, there is very tiny noticeable differences of that and there. But bring it down to pink. Pink's nice. I'm just going to bring it down to. No, up. Up 15. Changing the green is only actually changing the flowers. So I think the yellow, bring that down, -3. Oh my god! So if we can see what it was like before and after, before, 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 maybe a little bit more brightness. Highlights are okay to play around on this one because everything's within. Shadows, maybe shadows down. Shadows up? No. Shadows down. Shadows down a touch. Before, after, before, after, before, after, before, after. Now I'm happy with it. I think I'm going to leave on that one for you, well. But there you go. That's just to give you an idea of what I do for the photos. It's not just simple. It's not always just simple. Rotate, straighten, white balance, check. You know, brightness up, brightness down. Sometimes there's a lot more effort gone into this, and sometimes you can do a whole load of effort to make an image look the way you think it should look, and then 2 seconds later you think, maybe it needs something different. So that's why wedding stuff is a huge job, or at least you should take it as though it were a huge job. Hope that helps everyone. Sorry that was incredibly long, but sometimes you want to see that kind of stuff. Hope that helps. Bye bye.